Today I'm going to be placing the rear strut assemblies on this 2013 Honda CR-V, and while we got the wheels off, I'm going to do the end links for the sway bar on the rear as well. You already got the wheel off, you're right there, might as well go ahead and do that. Let's take a look at what we're working with today. I've got KYB rear strut assemblies. These were a little over $100 a piece, and then I bought these Moog sway bar end links. These ones are actually user greasable, so we'll find out about that. I did take a look at the old end links under there. They did not look so hot. We'll see those once I get the tire off, but we'll work a step by step, and hopefully this will not be too difficult of a repair. The primary symptom I'm hoping to address here on this 2013 CR-V is that the handling is less than ideal. Really feels a little bit floaty. It's not as tight as I would like it, and hopefully replacing those rear struts and the end links there, we'll do a little bit of a test drive after I get them installed, and we'll see what difference it makes. All right, got the tire off, and so we're gonna get these end links off here. And a weird design, but you gotta use the Allen key and then a 14 millimeter, and that is the nut you've got to take off with holding the Allen in there. I don't know why it's like that. The nice thing is the ones we're replacing are a little bit different. They'll go on a little bit easier, but you got to do that both the top and the bottom. So we're going to start there. We'll get that off, get the new one on before we worry about getting this strut out. Now the end link goes on really easy because you have your friend Ethan go under the car and you say you're going to record. That's really the way to make this go a lot easier. So one thing to watch out for when you're orienting this on there is where your grease points are. Make sure they're accessible after you've done the installation. You're going to have to crawl under there. There's the one grease point.
Yeah, so
and the other one's on the
here, and this one's here. They're both accessible once it's on.
Okay, awesome.
On the back side here, there's a spot for a 19 millimeter wrench.
19 millimeter in the back and 15 on the front. Okay. Yep. And then we're just going to have these loosely connected, not tightened down until we get the wheel back on, and then we'll tighten that end link. The top of that strut is actually inside the trunk area here. Pull this out of the way. So you've got to pull the little plastic trim off, and I didn't video that part, but you just use your hands and just pry it up. It pops right up. This piece that's here is connected to this big round piece that's here, and then one bolt is here, and then the second one is on this other side. Ethan, what were those, 14s up here?
Yes.
So these are 14 millimeter nut. You can pull the nut off. The new strut came with its own nut, so you don't have to keep those. One thing to note, actually leave the bottom disconnected. You're gonna need a lot of movement room in order to get this strut out. It's very tight, it's very hard to get out. You also have to pull whatever this thing is here. The two bolts are right there. See them up there. You're gonna have to pull those out because you need room to get this down, to get this strut out. It's quite difficult to get out. We actually already did the first one. So we got the first one on there, mostly because we wanted to prove we could do this before we started recording the second one. And we had to take these off to get room in order to, one, get this out, second, to get it back in because it sits in this little pocket. Let's go look at that on the other side. Super, super tight. All right, so you can see it's kind of jammed down in there. Now I haven't taken the bolt out yet. The bolt is right there. But even when you try to pull this out, the strut is going to be pushing down, and it's going to want to put downward pressure on that, and you've got to get it up over this lip here. Best way to do that, probably flathead screwdriver once you've got these other components disconnected, and pop it out. Once you get that totally off, we'll have enough movement to where we'll have enough room to disconnect the bottom of the strut in order to pop it out. If you leave that connected, it seems pretty much impossible to get the strut out. So we put the jack under here, that way it's not going to drop the whole assembly here once our strut is disconnected. And just thinking, obviously for safety, we've got our jack stand here and one on the other side. And then we'll put this jack under there. So 17 millimeter bolt on the lower strut. Whoop. There we go. So one way to make it easier is Ethan's in there with the screwdriver pushing up on that shock so that that bottom bolt will actually come out. it might get pinched if you don't have any leverage pushing up on the strut. We pinched the first one and it got kind of jammed in there, or you can tap it out from the other side, but that seemed to work really well. It came right out with him putting some pressure on it. All right, so he's going to apply leverage with the screwdriver right under the bottom of that strut, and then he's going to pull, and I'm going to try to hold the top of it.
Ready?
Yep. All right. So now it should come down. Okay, so this is one of the challenging parts, putting the new one up in there. You got to line the holes and then kind of follow the same procedure. Use that screwdriver to get leverage on the bottom of this bracket and then pop it into place. Unfortunately, this is only the second hardest part. Okay, 2 hard parts remain. Got that in there. Now we need to align the bolt hole here on the bottom. That's going to take a little bit of work to do. We can use our jacks to push up here or on this side in order to make it line up. And then lastly, we got to align these bolts on this side. Once we get that bolt in the strut, we can get these 2 in. Now, what was recommended to us was to be real careful with these 2, that you don't strip the bolt. So make sure it's lined up. We put a jack here and a jack here until those were pretty lined up, and then hand thread them up nicely before you torque them down. So we're using a rubber mallet or plastic mallet to just tap the bolt in as you twist and work to line the hole up.
The bottom half of the end link.
So now he's got that bottom end link he's connecting. And again, we're just going to connect those loosely. We're going to wait until both tires are back on and the weight is down on the ground before we tighten those end links. And really that's the case for everything. We're getting everything loosely connected, then going to get the weight back on the tire before we tighten down our strut, both in the top and on the bottom. And then we'll get this guy torqued up as well. Now, maybe you have a better idea for how to make this happen. Let me know in the comments, but here's how we do it. We've got a jack right under here and a jack right under here. Kind of play with them until you get these to line up to where you can put your bolts in nicely. You don't want to force these in there, don't want to strip them, then you're gonna have a big problem. But basically that's what we're doing. Use each jack until you get that set up there properly to install your bolt. So if you have trouble getting these lined up, have one person try to hand thread them and the other person basically pull on this thing until they're lined up. We did both of these by hand. We got them in that far. That way we know we're not cross-threaded. All right, we got everything finished up and I've got 3 or 4 drives in to try to get a feel of what difference does it make. And I gotta say, it makes a huge difference. Much more firm and much more stable, a lot less of that floaty feel. Don't feel like I'm kind of bouncing all around. So I think those rear struts and the end links did a huge difference. One of the challenges now is that I kind of want to do the ones in the front, although that job is a little more challenging with the steering components. All in all, this job took us about 3 hours. The second one went on a lot faster than the first one because we learned a few things along the way. I would recommend you definitely get a friend to do this. I think it would have been pretty challenging to do by myself. It is doable. You don't need any specialty tools. I will link in the description all the tools that we use. It's really just sockets and a jack stand, some of the basic stuff that you're going to need to get your tires off and work underneath the vehicle. Definitely a doable DIY. If this was helpful, like the video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This is Jason. I'll catch you in the next one.